good? What's good? Bless up to everyone. I am Kwaku King Nabby. I am the Gangster Movie Guru. Today is Thursday. Deep Thought Thursdays. Now typically I give you the entertaining videos about the greatest gangster movies and elements of the greatest gangster movies throughout the history of film, the history of cinema. However, today on Thursdays, we'll switch it up a little bit. We'll actually decode the hidden meaning behind some of the biggest Hollywood films to date. Today's film that we're going to decode and dissect is the 2016 film directed by Denis Villanueve, Arrival. The science fiction alien invasion, if you will, film that was more deep thought than it was action. Let's get into it. Arrival, Decoded, the transcension of time. Let's go. In this video, I will be showing you, one, the divine nature of the alien creatures that visited us and the symbols, the symbology used within the film to bring a visual to their divine nature. Two, the power of the unification of the male and female. And the third point will be the power of melanin and how the activation of melanin can help us transcend time. First, the divine nature of these aliens that arrived on the planet in the film. One thing that we know is that there were 12 different ships or vessels that arrived. 12, of course, being a divine number of completion. You have the 12 in the Bible, you have the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 disciples, you have the 144,000 anointed that reach heaven, 144, of course, being the perfect square, 12 times 12. You have 12 months in a year. You have 12 times 30 is 360. 360 degrees is a full circle. Divine completion is what that 12 symbolizes. So we automatically see that these ships, these vessels that these aliens have come down in represent divine completion. They work as 12, they are complete. And of course the 13th would take you beyond even the human experience. We'll possibly visit that in a different video. In addition, if you look at the shape, of the vessels, it's sort of an almond shape, maybe a half almond, similar to a pineal gland. Keep that in mind, the pineal being the third eye. The third eye that's calcified as you grow older in age and you're indoctrinated and programmed with different types of media and all types of sensory things, overload things that cloud your vision and cloud your vision from knowing your true self. True self being a key word here and throughout this film. So not only is there 12 of them, but there's basically 12 pineal glands, a divine completion of third eyes that can open us up to see a greater view and to really see the true reality and to shape our own reality. Now the film takes it from there, and each of these 12 vessels, these 12 pineal glands, are black. Black, of course, not being the absence of light, but black being the absorption of light. So through all of these 12 vessels, these are all light carriers. These are all light vessels. From darkness brings light. Light absorbs, darkness absorbs all light. Therefore, these are light creatures. These are light vessels. In addition to that, once we go into the actual vessel, the actual pineal gland, if you will, our whole perception of gravity and balance and equilibrium shifts. they shift basically horizontally. So now, so as they go up, when they get about halfway through, maybe a little more, they change to where, if you've seen the film, now they're standing sideways, and when they look straight ahead, they're seeing what would be down. If you will, if you've seen the film, please watch it. You'll understand more of what I'm speaking of. Down now, across from them is the exit, and then in back of them, and as they turn around in front of them, is a cube of light. Through the dark tunnel, from the darkness we get to the light. They proceed to go up, you know, into the light, and they see that there's a glass casing, which cases basically a cloud of white smoke. So this is the light that we need to head to. Through the pineal gland, we see this light. Excuse me. This furthermore shows the divine nature of these creatures. Now, when the creatures finally come and we see them, they are octopi-looking creatures. They have 7 legs. 7 legs, of course, you know, seven. They have 7 legs and 7, I guess, if you will, feet or toes on each leg. So the 7, of course, 7 being the divine number of righteousness. So these are divine, righteous, good-willing beings that are here to help us, is what the symbology of the film is telling us before we even know anything really about the creatures. Because at this time, the main character, played by Amy Adams, is trying to interpret what's going on. That brings us to another key point. That's going to be the bridge between the point about the divinity of the vessels, of the aliens, and that male-female, and what that does. The female in this film is Amy Adams. Prior to this film, she was also in Superman. She played Lois Lane, a journalist, communication. She, you know, ended up being a bridge, or interpreted something within, you know, Superman's special place where he could go back, you know, and reach back to Krypton. So we know her as a communicator, and she's a communicator in this film as well. She plays an interpreter who's currently working as a college professor. She's hired by Forest Whitaker's character, who's the military, you know, the straight line, you know, third dimensional minded kind of guy. She's hired to interpret and to try to understand the intentions of the aliens who have landed on Earth. As she communicates with the aliens and does her, you know, her scientific, technical, you know, ways of trying to be able to communicate with them and understand their language, when she first is given some language from them, it's written in a circular pattern, that 360 again. And we see that they are speaking in the divine nature. As is mentioned in the film, in order for a human to write this way, they'd have to know exactly how the sentence ended, how it started, everything in between, and how much space each word would be, to be able to write complex sentences in a secular form where they're able to get out complex thoughts in a matter of seconds, faster than we can write and faster than we can speak. And there's no beginning and no end to it. Transcending time. Keep that in mind. So as Amy Adams communicates with them, she's also joined by Jeremy Renner's character. Jeremy Renner, who happened to play Hawkeye in the Avengers, who's pretty much the only Avenger who has an outside family life. He's a father. The mother, the father. Divine mother, divine father. Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner. Without Jeremy Renner giving her the motivation to go back up and to not be worried about it, they wouldn't have been able to discover further, more complex language and get into further communication before the explosion happened and all of that. And we'll get into the symbology of that. So this brings us to the male and female aspect of the film. In order to get to that light and to totally interpret the mind's eye and to get in touch with in tune with your true self, you have to connect the male and female. Everything is built on polarity, opposite ends, male, female, up, down, left, right. Once the male and female connect, they're able to take things to another level, which is shown by the explosion that happens while they're in there when that gun-ho soldier wants to attack and destroy the aliens. That fire is like Kundalini energy rising to the top. So now that the male and female, they truly have charisma. At first they were kind of at odds. Now they have charisma. Now they're together. Boom, Kundalini explosion. Now they're totally in unison, and through that bond of male and female, they're able to achieve a higher level of thought, a higher level of interpretation, and receive information that they may not have been able to receive if it wasn't for them bonding in union. Now there's a million ways that you can bond that male and female. It doesn't have to be through the actual physical getting married or having a girlfriend or having a boyfriend or having that sexual union. All those things are magical as well. However, you can even get in touch with your feminine side or with your masculine side yourself as an individual and still achieve that enlightenment and get more in tune with who you truly are. If you're a man, getting in touch with your feminine side doesn't mean that you need to watch Lifetime movies, and go get a pedicure or something. No, you don't need to do all that. You don't need to do what you think is a feminine thing or whatever the case may be. If you're a woman, you don't need to go out and, play football and grow a mustache or whatever you think is masculine. You don't have to actually do that physically. Getting in touch with your feminine or masculine side more so means if you're a man and you want to get in touch with your feminine side, the feminine is that intuitive, creative, nurturing, empathetic side. Feel more. Feel what's going on. Trust your intuition. Trust that the universe is working for you, and that as long as you know yourself and that you're on your true journey in life and doing what you truly want to do and desire to do, everything will fall into place. And you will be able to trust your gut feeling, trust your intuition to take over and to drive you as you take action. The masculine would be that grounded, practical side, intellectual side. Now, if you're a little bit too flighty, maybe you're trusting in your intuition a little too much and you just expect things to happen, balance it out with immediate radical action, practical things that you can do in the physical world, in your physical body, that you could do physically, that will bring those things that you've created in your mind into fruition. So it's really just the balance of the practical masculine and the balance of the intuitive feminine, which creates that Kundalini experience, which opens your pineal and brings you to a higher enlightenment. And that's what the film describes through this symbology and through those scenes. Now we get to the part of the film that goes into the power of melanin and how we could truly transcend time. Now, if you notice, as Amy Adams' character communicates with the alien life forms, she is able, which resemble Cthulhu too, from the Necronomicon and all that, the octopus type thing. So great old ones, if you will. I meant to add that in there. Great old ones. These are divine creatures. That also shows their divinity through the symbology of the film. But to get to the point, as Amy Adams' character communicates with these life forms, she starts to have visions of her daughter who isn't born yet. She has visions into the future. She's slowly transcending time. The more she communicates with them, the more these visions become complete. The more she starts to realize that she's envisioning something that's actually happening in the future. The reason why she's able to communicate with the Chinese ambassadors or politicians dying wife and relay that information back to him to save the world. If you notice how they communicate with a black matter, a black form. Typically in movies, a black liquid, a black gaseous type of form represents the melanin. Now, Dr. Edward Bynum in his book Dark Light Consciousness goes deep into the melanin and how it has fifth dimensional powers and can transcend us into fifth dimensional beings and have us communicate on the fifth dimensional level. This is talking beyond just the melanin, which I have a lot of on your skin, in your skin tone. This is actually he goes into the deeper neuromelanin, the melanin that's under the folds of your brain that allows your brain to absorb light information and is conducted, by electromagnetic surges and power. He also goes into the inner ear melanin. The melanin, the pigmentation within our ears that allows our ears to vibrate and hear frequencies subconsciously on a higher level, and also adds to our balance and gives us balance and equilibrium. If you ever realize if you close your ears and can't hear, your balance, your ability to kind of stand straight kind of goes off, or if you have a concussion or get rocked, your ears ring. Your ears are connected to your balance, to your equilibrium, to all of your senses. Through them communicating with this black gas that creates circular patterns, is symbolic of Amy Adams activating her melanin, or of a human being activating their melanin. They've gone up in the pineal, they've gone into the light, they're decalcifying their pineal through different methods, and they're able to now communicate and activate their melanin to be able to get a vibration on a different level. The fifth dimensional level being the level of being able to transcend time, to go beyond time, to go to a higher level of consciousness than our physical state allows us. To give you a more practical, grounded definition that may be easier for someone to understand, when we're on the fifth dimensional level, we're now seeing things from a bird's eye view. When you're driving in a car, for instance, you see a few hundred feet in front of you. When you're up there in the airplane and when it's landing and you can see for miles and miles houses and streets and cars moving and all of that, that's the view that we get when we're in the fifth dimension. We're able to visualize things in the future, visualize where we want to be, where we desire to be, and then make them manifest in our physical realities. We're able to visualize an idea, meditate on it, meditation, visualization, vision boards, or just seeing, closing your eyes, mindful meditation. These are all techniques that you can use to get into that fifth dimensional thought, decalcify your pineal, activate your melanin. Now you can see clearer, you can get in tune with your true self, know exactly what you want to do in life, what you desire to do in life, see it, and then take radical action on this earth, practical, physical action to get there. Now you have the patience because you know that you're taking action every day. The universe is working with you. Your mind state is in the mind state of a person who's already there because you have the bird's eye view, so you already see yourself as the person that you want to be. And now you just understand that every day is just another step towards there. There's no worry, there's no impatience, regardless of what challenges come in front of you, you're able to overcome those challenges and succeed in life regardless. That's the practical interpretation of it. And that's what this movie, this film Arrival, is saying to us symbolically. You must balance your male and female side, activate the divine part of you, the pineal gland, the melanin, And then from that, you will transcend time and be able to manifest daily what you will receive once the days catch up to the time that you will achieve the success and be the person that you want to be. You live the person that you want to be and be that person now. And every day, you'll be just taking a step further and further into a greater version of that person that you already know you are. And that is Arrival Decoded. I hope that you enjoyed this. I know that you enjoyed this. I'm Kwaku King Nabby. I'm the Gangster Movie Guru. This is Deep Thought Thursdays, where we decode any film throughout film history. Today was 2016's Arrival, directed by Denis Villanueve, a very metaphysical writer and director. He's done Sicario. He's part of the Three Amigos. Him, Guillermo del Toro, and Alejandro Inarritu, all very metaphysical with their films. If you've seen their films, I'm definitely going to decode a number of them so you know what type of cloth he's cut from, and that Hollywood enlists a person like his and lets him get the movie out there, because these are the subconscious symbols that they're trying to send to really deify themselves. By sending out these signals, they use this to deify themselves as Hollywood. However, we as people, well, we as citizens who are watching this film, if we really pay attention to these symbols, then we can also use these films to enlighten ourselves and bring ourselves to further illumination. You know, there's various books that you could read. Some books that helped me out with this was Dark Light Consciousness by Edward Bynum. Also the Ancient Future, which goes over the 7 hermetic principles, as above, so below, as within, so without, and things of that nature, by Wayne Chandler. A lot of other books. Please do your own research. Learn. Don't take my word for it. I am the Gangster Movie Guru, and I know what the hell I'm talking about. However, on whatever I talk about. However, do your own research on things like this as well, because I want you to come to your enlightenment and feel fulfilled as I have myself. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit those buttons down below. Creativity, abundance, and prosperity to all. Bless up. Catch you on the next one.
Mafioso.